Welcome to this presentation on the fluid mechanics of enlightenment. In the slides ahead, we'll explore a very different view of spiritual practice, one that challenges the idea of lifelong effort and instead points toward direct understanding. The central message is simple but radical. Liberation is not something built over time, but something recognized instantly. This slide contrasts two ways of thinking about spiritual progress. Traditional practice is often framed as slow, effortful, and ongoing, while the way of understanding is presented as immediate and complete. The key idea is that enlightenment is not a special experience to be preserved, but a lasting clarity that needs no maintenance. Here we look at the mind as a layered system. The conscious mind is just the surface, where everyday thoughts and emotions appear. Beneath that lies the subconscious, which stores memory, belief, and automatic reactions. Deeper still is a quieter layer that is usually inaccessible directly, but whose effects can still be felt in our experience. This slide explains that mental feelings are not separate from the body. A feeling may begin in the subconscious, but it quickly becomes a physical process through the nervous system. In other words, emotions are not just abstract events in the mind, they are embodied responses, and the body cannot sustain endless stimulation. Now we arrive at the core problem, the inner war. A feeling arises, the conscious mind judges it, then resists it, and that resistance feeds the cycle back into the subconscious. The diagram shows how self-contradiction keeps the system trapped, turning a simple reaction into a repeated loop of suffering. This slide offers the proposed fix, which is to let the feeling pass without resistance. Instead of applying a theory of perfection, the conscious mind simply observes what is happening. When there is no struggle and no attempt to hold on, the feeling flows outward naturally and fades on its own. Here, the focus is on sorrow and pain as the clearest triggers for insight. Ordinary thoughts may disappear unnoticed, but heavier feelings make the mechanism visible. The point is that when pain is allowed to move through without resistance, a release becomes immediately apparent, and that release confirms understanding. The image of the dirty pot and the nectar makes an important distinction. The surface may look ugly, but what matters is what is inside. In this view, rejecting unpleasant qualities means rejecting the very vessel that contains liberation. True freedom does not come from polishing the container first, but from recognizing the nectar already within it. This slide compares the inner world and the outer world as two different rule books. Externally, we act according to social responsibility and clear standards. Internally, however, the instruction is complete acceptance, without labeling feelings as right or wrong. The message is to stay fully responsible in life while remaining inwardly unbound. Here we see the difference between the possessor and the flower. The possessor tries to control the future and preserve a preferred identity, which only tightens the sense of self. The flower, by contrast, accepts feeling as a natural movement. The invitation is not to erase the I, but to release the part that clings and claims ownership. This slide states that liberation comes before purification, not after it. The engine changes track instantly, which represents awakening itself, while the carriages follow later, representing character and behavior. In other words, freedom is immediate, and the gradual refinement of life unfolds afterward as a natural consequence. Finally, the presentation closes with the idea of the nameless flow of life. Enlightenment is not framed as an object to reach or an experience to collect, but as freedom from all striving. Once that is confirmed, the struggle ends, and what remains is a quiet, effortless flow with no beginning and no end.